What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Loreverse. Now, for decades, who's the GOAT debate has been basically a 2 to 3 horse race. Obviously, Batman is in there, but you've got Superman, you got the guy who started it all, and you got Spider-Man, the guy who made it human. These are two icons, two massive companies, and two universes that honestly shouldn't work together. But here's the thing. Every time these two cross paths, it doesn't just feel like a marketing stunt. It feels right. And now with the new Superman and Spider-Man crossover comic officially coming this year, we have to talk about why this pairing is the gold standard. On the surface, they're total opposites. One is an alien god who can bench press a planet, and the other is a kid from Queens who's constantly worried about his bank balance. But at their core, they aren't opposites at all. They are the exact same hero, just told from two different ends of a telescope. So today, we are diving deep into the psychology, the history, and the narrative magic of the Big Blue Boy Scout and the friendly neighborhood wall crawler. This is Stevie, and this is the Loreverse, and let's dive into this. Now let's look at the archetypes. Superman is the icon. He is the absolute ceiling. In lore, Clark Kent isn't just a hero, he's a fixed point in the moral compass of the DC multiverse. He represents what happens when absolute power chooses absolute kindness. And he is the sun that everything else revolves around. Spider-Man, though, he's the everyman. He's the ground level hero. While Superman is soaring above the clouds, Peter Parker is stuck in traffic. So Superman asks, what if a god decided to be our neighbor? And Spider-Man asks, what if our neighbor suddenly became a god? And when you put them together, you get a complete picture of the human experience. Superman provides the aspiration, right? Showing us what we could be if we were our best selves. Spidey provides relatability, showing us the struggle of trying to be that person while life keeps throwing curveballs at you. And they aren't just a team up, they're a conversation between the ideal and the reality. And this is where the lore gets deep, because we have to look at their origins. Clark Kent was born with power, but he was raised with values. Jonathan and Martha Kent are the most important characters in Superman lore because they gave him a moral north before he ever learned to fly, and his heroism is a gift. Now, Peter Parker, on the other hand, he got his power and had to learn his values through blood. Uncle Ben's death is the ultimate origin trauma. Peter didn't start as a hero, he started as a kid who wanted to make money and get famous, and his heroism is a debt. And when these two meet, the chemistry will be fascinating because Superman is going to look at Peter and see the pure, unvarnished weight of responsibility, something Clark has carried since he was a toddler, and Spider-Man is going to look at Clark and see something he desperately needs, and it's peace. And Clark reminds Peter that being a hero doesn't always have to be a tragedy, and Peter reminds Clark that for most people, doing the right thing is an uphill battle every single day. And also, like, think about their settings, right? Superman's metropolis is the city of tomorrow. It's bright, it's shiny, and the threats are usually Brainiac, Darkseid, really existential, cosmic, and massive threats. And New York it's New York, right? It's gritty, it's crowded, and the threats are often, I need to stop this bank robbery before I'm late for my chemistry final. And when Superman walks down the street in Queens with Spidey, he isn't a god anymore. He's a guy helping a neighbor. And Spidey is going to earth Superman. And we'll also see an elevation factor as well, because when Spider-Man hitches a ride on Superman's cape to fight a cosmic threat, the stakes are raised, and Superman levels up Spider-Man. And in their famous 1976 crossover, Superman versus the Amazing Spider-Man, we saw this perfectly. They didn't fight because of a misunderstanding. Well, for more than a few pages, right? They teamed up because of their villains. Lex Luthor and Doc Ock represented the same kind of ego-driven science that both heroes hate and despise. And the interesting thing about Spider-Man and Superman is that they both fix each other's biggest problems. Because let's be real for a second. The biggest criticism of Superman is that he's too perfect or boring because he's so powerful. And the biggest criticism of Spider-Man is that he suffers too much, and fans call it, Spider-Man's torture. And together, these flaws cancel out, because when Clark is around, the Spider-Man luck tends to soften. And Superman's presence brings a sense of hope that Peter often loses. And when Peter is around, Clark is forced to deal with the human problems he can't just punch his way out of. He has to deal with Peter's self-doubt, his grief, and his exhaustion. In the best team-up stories, Superman acts as a mentor, even if they're around the same age, and Spider-Man acts as the confidant. And it's the only time Clark can really talk to someone who understands the secret identity struggle without the brooding darkness of Batman, or even at times a Wonder Woman as well, because Wonder Woman could also be dark at times. Now, I also believe that this works better than Batman and Spider-Man, because a lot of people want to pair Batman and Spider-Man together because they both operate in the street level urban jungle, and because they both are the most popular characters of their universes. But that pairing is actually depressing because both of them are built on trauma. Batman is the man who was broken by a tragedy and decided to become a weapon. Superman and Spider-Man, though, are built on optimism. They are the blue team. Even though Peter has had a rough life, he's still cracking jokes. Even though Clark is an alien whose home planet blew up, he still believes in the American way, aka the better tomorrow. And they are heroes who believe the world is fundamentally good. Batman fights because he thinks the world is fundamentally sick. And that's why a Superman and Spider-Man team up feels aspirational, because it's two guys who genuinely like being heroes. And so the upcoming crossover isn't just a greatest hits tour. It's a reaction to the modern grimdark era of superheroes. For the last decade, we have seen, evil Superman tropes and miserable Spider-Man arcs. And this team up is a course correction. It's a statement from the creators that says heroes don't have to be broken to be interesting. It's not about who would win a fight. Spoiler, it's about obviously Superman will cook Spider-Man, right? But it's about why they both matter. And it's about the fact that you need a guy who can save the world and the guy who can save the neighborhood. And if you boil both characters down to one question, it's this: if you have the power to help, do you have the right not to, right? Superman answers that by being a constant, unyielding beacon. And Spider-Man answers that by getting back up every time he gets knocked down. They represent the burden and beauty of being a hero. One represents hope without conditions, and the other represents responsibility without reward. And when you put them on the same page, you aren't just watching a comic, you're watching the two halves of the heroic soul finally reunite. And Superman and Spider-Man, they aren't rivals, they are reflections. One shows us the best version of what we could become, and the other shows us exactly who we are right now. And this is why this team up never feels forced or hollow. And this isn't about just two IPs colliding, it's about two legends that have defined what it means to be a good person for nearly a century. But I want to hear from you guys. In the 2026 crossover of Superman and Spider-Man, are you more excited to see Clark in Peter's world, or Peter trying to keep up with the gods in Metropolis? And let me know, which hero do you relate to more on a personal level? Thank you guys for watching and hanging with me. Please subscribe to the Loreverse and like this video and watch some other videos that we have. I'm pretty sure I've talked about something that you guys like. So please like, subscribe, show me some love, stay crispy, and peace out.